Okay, Cavalier faithful. Whoa, just think we just played the old intro. That's fine. We're in a total mess tonight. Solo stream for now. Logan, late at work. Justin, work kicking his ass too. But we got to get this stream out there. We have to get these predictions going. And we're going to talk Cavs basketball. There's a lot to talk about. And this should be a good game tonight. I think maybe this game gets discredited. It's just a game in January. It doesn't really matter to some people. But if you take a look at the Eastern Conference standings, while it may not be an important game now, there could be ramifications down the road if there is playoff implications. Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference standings. So it's just a game in January, end of January, still not even close to the playoffs. That could be a valid point. But if you take a look, our Cleveland Cavaliers are 29-19, pretty securely located in the fifth spot, kind of on both sides, which is a little bit annoying that we're 2 games behind Brooklyn. But we are 3 games ahead Miami in the 6th seed. And there's the team we're playing tonight, New York, 25-23. So they're 4 losses behind us. Interesting ramifications for tonight. If you're in the stream, appreciate it. Welcome. Thank you for coming out. If you're excited to watch Cavalier basketball tonight, make sure you hit that like button. Any questions in the comment sections will be taken by me tonight. Logan and Justin are going to remote in their predictions, and we're going to get on with it. So, like I said, let's start with this Knicks preview. I think they're an interesting team. I think they've come on in recent months, and I think they're a little bit better than what I thought they were going to be as far as this upcoming season. What is interesting is the Twitter sphere is saying if Donovan Mitchell plays, which he's probable, think he's going to play, this is going to be the first time all year, 48 games in, that the Cavaliers have a fully healthy rotation on display, which is kind of interesting because I don't know if Dean Wade is still on a minute restrictions. So he's going to be eased back in. It's not a true starting rotation. I get where people are coming from, but I don't want to make the injury bug an excuse, especially with players that have been injured. If you're injured now, we're not even at the All-Star break. Sure, there's more games before the All-Star break than after the All-Star break. I get that. I think that should be common knowledge. Sometimes it's not because they have to play the playoffs after the All-Star break as well. They have to put the post All-Star break and the playoffs together. So that's why they kind of have the All-Star break set back more in the season. But if you're hurt now, there's no guarantee you're going to be ready for the postseason. I think that's pretty common to say. Ashton in the chat, always representing live and loud. Got to find a way to string together some wins, get up to that second or third. I don't know, man. There's still a lot of season left, and I agree with you. If you go on a 10-game winning streak post All-Star break, anything's possible. We're making it, not that we're making it really tough for ourselves, but the Eastern Conference is difficult. You're 10 games above 500, and you're sitting in the 5th seed. You're kind of dabbling in play-in range, and I hate that I'm saying that. I really do, but that's just the reality of the situation, and that's kind of my bigger point with injuries. Except for Boston, that I'm a little bit ignorant, don't really know a whole lot about. All these teams have had issues and have had players out and are still playing at a high caliber of level. Maybe outside of the Celtics, 76ers, but the Bucks, we haven't played a healthy Bucks team all year long in any game that we played them this year. I think we've already played them 3 or 4 times. The Nets, we know that they are always liable for KD or Kyrie to not be in the rotation. Ben Simmons, they had to get Ben Simmons up to speed. So these teams above us, they've earned these spots. I don't think that it's, I think it's wrong to say maybe the Cavs should have a better record. Maybe they should be playing a little bit better basketball, but these teams above us have went out and grinded and found their way to these records. 30-17 for Milwaukee. I wonder how many games Middleton has missed, how many games Giannis has missed, whether it's load management or real injury. Interesting stuff. But Ashton, I totally agree. And I don't want to fall into the expectation trap of this squad, but you'd love a home playoff series. That's all I got to say. I'm not saying it's a disappointment if you don't get one, but you guys know me. It'll be a little bit of a disappointment if we don't get one. So the Knicks tonight, some interesting couple games that we have witnessed, in the last week of Cavalier basketball, which we're going to touch on quickly, whether it be the Grizzlies kind of throwing that game away. We'll get to JB eventually in this conversation. We only have 35 minutes. It's just me, so I got to fill up the space, but tip-offs in about 30 minutes. We're going to get you guys on your way, talk a little Cavs basketball, go on with our lives. The Warriors game, no comment. Really no comment on that front. And Milwaukee, you're just glad to get away with a win there. Kind of gasping for air these past 3 games on our schedule. It is what it is. And I think we're playing a decent New York Knicks team tonight. I'm not really sure how the environment is going to be. If Donovan Mitchell plays, which I think he will, should be interesting because this was an offseason of a little bit of turmoil for the Knicks. Always seems that that's the case, but they thought that they were surefire locks to land, Spida, and turns out we did and not them. So I think what we should do now is take a look at just some of the statistics for the New York Knicks and who really stacks up against us as far as a head-on-head standpoint. So let's get into this one really quickly before we move on. I want to hit some bigger topics because I think that that's the name of the game here. Hey, Justin's in the chat.
What up, everyone? Jeff, how you doing, brother?
Struggling through this, but we're talking a little preview. We're going to talk Julius Randle having another decent career, averaging that clean double-double. And, they have some secondary scoring with Jalen Brunson. Are we sure that contract is going to pan out as far as the duration of it and how much they paid for him? I don't know. I was never a huge Jalen Brunson believer. I thought he kind of had one good series. I thought that Mav should have hung on to him if it was not the price tag that he was garnering, but he's not playing too bad in New York this season, 22.5 points a game. That's pretty good for what he's getting paid.
What was his career stats before this, Jeff? Can you?
I'm sure it was not that good.
I gotta believe that. 22 points. He was the number 2 behind Luka, right? And now he's kind of playing third fiddle to RJ and to Julius. So
probably second fiddle, honestly. Maybe him and RJ are kind of like 2A and 2B. Right. His career totals are 13.3 points a game. So,
wow.
10 points a game better. Last year, he averaged 16.3 points a game. So
he's having careers high right now, right?
For sure. I think he's probably in line to be decent voting for most improved player. I think that award goes to Lauri Markkanen, but
yeah,
here we are. So interesting. I think it's always fun to play teams that have serviceable guard play. Yeah. Especially when watching the Cavs, like you said, they have RJ Barrett, they have Emmanuel Quickly. Quentin Grimes isn't a pushover. And then Jalen Brunson kind of at the top of that heap. RJ Barrett averaging 20.3 points a game. So they kind of have their own little mini 3-headed monster in New York.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I think RJ Barrett lines along Darius Garland when you talk about skill.
Sure.
If you're looking at this team and you're trying to match guys up one-on-one, I don't think anyone's touching Donovan Mitchell on this team.
No.
And then you move down and you're like, all right, well, Darius Garland is the, next all-star between the two teams in guard play. And you're like, all right, well, RJ Barrett is a young and upcoming star who is starting to, I think find his footing as the lead guy in New York. And then Brunson, yeah, like you said, he's putting up career highs in points and he's doing, better than maybe he's doing better than I expected. I'm going to be honest. I didn't expect a lot from Brunson and that deal and that team in general. So I believe they're currently in the playoffs as of right now. They have a 25-23 record that I'm looking at. So yep.
That's what I was kind of previewing before you hopped on. It's a random game in January, but these guys are 2 behind you in the standings. This is a game that you have to have in Madison Square Garden. It's not going to be easy on the road, and they're playing under the same circumstances and pretenses as well. So I think that if I'm banking on the best Cavalier basketball that we've seen in the past 2 weeks, I really hope it's tonight.
Yeah, well, you would hope that it's not what you've seen in the past 3 nights. Is more
Correct.
specifically, you'd hope that we can start getting away with that with guys coming back. Hopefully, Donovan Mitchell plays tonight. I haven't seen. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't seen any
They haven't
updates
tweeted it.
for.
They haven't tweeted anything.
Yeah, I don't even know if like we've gotten the scoop of one of the players wore a specific jersey today
Right.
at practice, and that's how we know who's going to be in the starting lineup. But getting Donovan would be huge. I was expecting him back for the Bucks game, so hopefully he's here for the Knicks game, and he kind of gives that Knicks crowd
We need him
what
tonight.
what they wanted out of him, and hopefully he
Mhm.
comes out and drops like a 30 bomb on them. But yeah, this Knicks team is.
I agree with you, but I really hope he doesn't. I hope we have a nice vintage Mitchell 21, Garland 18, Mobley 20, Levert 16,
Yeah.
Jared Allen 15, and we just destroy him.
Wow.
I don't want to be top heavy. I'm so sick of the last 2 years, year and a half, granted, of being top heavy, whether it's Garland last year or Garland this year when Mitchell's out or Mitchell this year when Garland's out. I'm so sick of it. I want to play balanced basketball more consistently.
Yeah, it's.
Good shout out,
Have,
Beast Girls.
have we ever really seen that though, Jeff? Like, think about it. In all of our time, we've always had a 1 to 2 player dominant,
That's
role,
how
and
it
then
goes in the NBA.
and then your 3 and 4 guys. Sometimes they occasionally pop off and drop 30s or drop
Sure.
what Evan Mobley did the other night, and Kevin Love obviously was that guy back in the day with Kyrie and LeBron. You expected the top heavy performances out of those two, and then to kind of sprinkle in a JR 20 plus point game, a Kevin Love 20 plus point
Justin,
game.
hello? Oh, Justin's buffering.
Uh-oh.
He's back.
Am I back?
Beast Girls, good point, though. Not only is the best defender, but that's 9 rebounds off the board, 9 rebound average, 8.9 rebound average gone. And you know how it is when we have high energy guys on the other team that we're playing, we do struggle, whether it's, an MVP caliber like Giannis or just somebody who puts a huge emphasis on offensive and defensive rebounds. I think you saw that in the Warriors game, kind of what killed us. Justin, you were saying though,
Am I
top
back?
heavy. Yeah, you're
Top
you're
heavy.
back.
Yeah, so we've been in the top heavy atmosphere before, and we've seen it work. I think unfortunately that's just how the NBA works.
Mhm.
You have 2 guys. The way that the NBA has been for, I think, for the longest time. You have 2 guys. You have your Scotty and the MJ. You have your Kobe and your Shaq. You have your Dwayne Wade and LeBron James. You have your LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. The list goes on and on and on of 2 duos, and then
Right.
guys that you sprinkle in there. Even nowadays, you can argue that the trios, the third person in a trio is typically the guy who is the most underlooked or the guy who doesn't put up the most fancy stats.
The guy who's criticized the most.
Yeah, and very easily you can go right over to, go all the way out to the West Coast and go talk about our favorite team out there with the Golden State Warriors. You got Steph Curry, you got Klay Thompson, and then you got Draymond Green. Now, I don't like Draymond Green, but I can admit that he plays a big role in that team, in that 3.
He plays his role well.
Yeah. And
my issue is that you're really good teams, your dynasty level teams, which is, shooting for the stars. But last year's Warriors team, Curry, Klay, Draymond, Wiggins, and Jordan Poole.
Yep.
That's as solid as it gets as far as not being top heavy in a while. And believe it or not, I'm sure I'm missing a team. So if anybody in the chat has a team they could think of in recent memory, but weirdly enough, the only other team I could think of that wasn't like a Cavs team maybe is the Thunder. Russ, James Harden, Durant, and Ibaka. Like at least you had a fourth, and you weren't you weren't relying on KD every single night.
But I guess I'm starting to lose you, Jeff, because in terms of
Logan,
hello. In terms of talking about like being top heavy, what is your like actual meaning behind it? Because when I think of our 4, I think, well, that's a good 4. What they
top
put up
heavy
on
to me
basis.
Top heavy to me is literally like Donovan has to play
40.
It's not even like scoring. It's like Donovan literally has to be out there for 40 minutes and score 40, 45, and then it's a close game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not sustainable. The guys aren't going to be healthy all year if you have to do that.
Catch me up, guys. What are we talking about?
We're talking about. I don't even know how did we get on this topic. It's
we were
having
talking
good discussion.
About the guards of New York and how they match up
Yes.
against our guards, and so
Brunson and Barrett.
Yeah, we started talking about duos, and then we started talking about being a top heavy team or doing or not being a top heavy, working through being a top heavy team and not relying on a Donovan Mitchell to save.
Well, the thing tonight, Logan, which I'll start you off with this for you to comment on, is that if you see people on Twitter, whoever it is, saying that this is the first real time 48 games and we're going to have a fully staffed rotation. Crazy. Dean Wade, and I kind of prefaced that. I kicked off the show saying I don't want to succumb to the injury excuse. The teams ahead of us in the standings, I think, have gone through their own injuries. How many games has Middleton missed? How many games has Giannis missed? That Brooklyn's not going to be functional all year long. Maybe Boston's been the healthiest team all year. Maybe I'm ignorant about their roster, but can we put it all together tonight, or is it still going to be, Mitchell's got to bail us out?
Logan, not to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Starting five for tonight: Garland, Mitchell, Okoro, Mobley, Allen.
Okay, they're going with Okoro. Okay.
Perfect. That's fine with me. Like I said, that's what makes him the most effective. I think if you're being honest, some of the best teams in the NBA are kind of top heavy. And that's a thing it's just especially true for us. I think those teams can be top heavy, lose a star though, and still play well because they have the right pieces that fit right. I kind of feel like outside of our top four, this might be a stretch. Maybe Rubio as well is included in this. Everybody else is kind of misfits in a way, trying to find their way. So when you don't have one of those four to guide you guys and to find the consistencies, then you have issues. Clearly, it's going to pain me. The Golden State Warriors game is Exhibit A. You're missing Mitchell. They're down 4 starters. You're at home. You haven't beat this team in 6 years. You sure as hell should have beat this team, but you didn't have Mitchell. So suddenly your offense looks a little bit different. Suddenly you're not closing out on defense as much. You don't have guys to hold you accountable. That's the issue the Cavaliers have, is their culture is great. It's great. But when it comes to on the court play, when it comes to the matchups like tonight versus the New York Knicks, are you going to put yourself in positions to succeed? And yes, you have the roster to do it. Yes, there's going to be the situation where you have to make sure everything comes together again. You have to re-gel again, and I'm kind of tired of re-gelling, but some of the best teams in the NBA don't have that problem because they have guys that all fit their system. I do think the Cavaliers are still trying to work out the system. The culture's there, and to me, that's a bigger part of the battle. But the thing that determines wins and losses a lot of the times is the system. How do these guys rotate? How do things come together? That's the problem we still have. And that's why teams who are young and hungry, teams like the Knicks who mostly have a young roster. No, I'm thinking of other teams, but the Knicks kind of fall in that line a little bit. Those teams are teams that have nothing to lose, and they just play hard, and they come to beat you. The Cavaliers, I sometimes think, overthink things a little bit because they're still trying to find their way.
Fair enough. It's 7:20. I think we got about 15, 16 more minutes. The NBA is always late. If you're in the chat, hit the like button because that means one of two things. Either you like us or you like Cavalier basketball, probably both. And if you like Cavalier basketball, we've never met you, and we have a lot more in common than we've ever known. So that's cool. That's fun. That's the internet. That's sports. Let's move on. I want to do one more topic before we get to predictions. I had 2 more topics, but we've conjoined together as a squad. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it once, and I'm going to let you guys just go free for all after this. And this is a Twitter thing. You guys know how I am about Twitter, but here I got 2 rules for JB Bickerstaff going forward for the rest of the year. And I think these are plausible. And if you think they're totally off the rails, please let me know in the chat or YouTube. Rule number 1, don't call for him to be fired. That's fun and all. That's fun to tweet when you're pissed at a guy. Emotional reactions. Everybody loves doing it. It's a human thing. Don't tweet for him to be fired. I'm going to try to use nice words. That's rule number 1. 2, if you are somebody in the community who has a voice, which could be anybody. Maybe you think you have a voice. Maybe other people don't think you do. Maybe you're not as big as some other people. Trust me. We're not anywhere near the top of the heap of Cavs content on YouTube or on Twitter. I think we're in there. I think we're in the mix, and people acknowledge that, which isn't what it's about. But if you're a part of the ecosystem in any way and you are so afraid to criticize him as a head coach, you're doing wrong by the community and the fans, and you're not doing your due diligence covering the team, and just say you're nervous to do it. Those are my 2 rules. Don't fire him. Don't be nervous. Thoughts?
Don't fire him. I agree. There's no need to fire JB Bickerstaff. We're from Cleveland, guys. We've seen the head coaching carousel in all 3 of our teams. I mean, obviously the Guardians, and baseball is a little bit just less of that. And obviously Francona has been a mainstay in
Hall
Cleveland.
of Famer, though. I mean, how many Hall of Fame head
yeah,
coaches
exactly.
have we had?
You don't exactly when you get one, you don't let one go. I totally hear you. When it comes to the Cavs and it comes to the Browns, and obviously we're talking Cavs today, so I'll focus on that. I've seen a lot of coaches come through, and it's cool for a week. We see this new Cavaliers, and then it's back to fire this guy. I'm tired of that. I think JB is the perfect coach when it comes to this team. When it comes to a player's coach. Now, for me, I guess the point I would make, you need to have some assistant coaches out there that are going to help them out a little bit more. I think we have good assistant coaches that don't speak enough. I think JB gets set in his ways, like that game against Memphis. You have your coach's challenge. Not one assistant coach could yell at you to take it. You have your one timeout. I get it. Some guys like to play in transition or try to get the defense by surprise, but you have a timeout. You see the play's not developing with 5 seconds left. Call a damn timeout. It's just those types of things. I think overall there seems to be a bit of a disconnect between the coaching and the players, and that's definitely not true in the locker room. It's definitely not true as a whole. But I do think in the biggest moments, the Cavaliers have folded multiple times this year. And you could say it comes down to coaching. You could say it comes down to the referees. When it comes to JB Bickerstaff, though, I truly believe this is a guy that needs to stay here for a few years. Got to give him his fair shake with a contending roster. I mean, last year we were surprised. Year before that, we sucked. This year, we're expected to be one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference, potentially in the NBA. If you grab a new coach, you're doing yourself a disservice as an organization to do that. But I do agree, Jeffrey. You can be mad at this guy. You can freak out on Twitter on this guy because in a lot of these games, he's rightfully deserved it.
Don't freak out to freak out, though.
Exactly.
Freak out when you have a reason to freak out.
Yeah. This, like you said, you're telling me he held a challenge. I think you said this on Twitter. You're like, he held a challenge, he held a timeout in those final seconds. Those are things. Call that out and expose it. That doesn't mean fire the guy. And I think that's where Cleveland fans are getting a little bit mixed in that thought process. Is you don't fire a coach to fire a coach. There has to be, if we were 7 games under 500, then you're talking about it. If we're 500, you're talking about it. But what did you say, Justin?
I said that's news to me. I don't want to cut you off or anything,
Go for it,
my
please.
brother. But
if you don't, I won't shut up.
I think the biggest thing is like so many Browns people are coming over to Cavs. That's what I was thinking. That's the whole thought I've been thinking this entire time. But I do like the points that were brought up, and a lot of it is social media. And here's the one thing I'll say about it, in terms of like the whole. There was one tweet I saw that I wanted to respond to, and I try not to respond to things just because I think a lot of the time it gets like to the point where like you can't have a civil conversation. But the one tweet I saw was, "Hey, we fired
David
Blatt in the middle of the season and won a championship. Hey, I'm sorry to tell you guys this, but where's LeBron James? He's not in Cleveland right now. He's not going to carry your team to the finals." Yeah, let's be honest. I'll give you guys the inside scoop on my knowledge of basketball. It's not very good. It's not as good as these two over here. They know way more than I do. But the one thing I'll tell you is I've watched enough Cleveland Browns head coach firings to know that it's not the answer to fire a dude after you get a good team. It's not the idea that you should go with.
Unless you're Freddie Kitchens.
Well, yeah, that's absolutely
fire.
That's absolutely flawed.
We knew it was bad from the beginning, though.
We're at least logically consistent because we were here on the show a week ago and said, don't make a trade just to make a trade. So you don't fire a coach just because you want to fire a coach. And Justin brings up actually the ultimate point is that the front office did not fire David Blatt. That was LeBron James.
See, honestly, you know more about basketball than you think.
But honestly, if this was if LeBron was on this roster, I think JB's job is on the line a little bit. I mean, more than like without him.
If LeBron had been on the team, he would have been gone after the game that We lost the Memphis game. I don't know.
I just
why
think
was
our record would probably be better anyway if we had LeBron. Well,
They
course,
fired
but-
David Blatt when we were 30-11 and first in the Eastern Conference. Let that sink in.
that's savage.
That's nuts.
LeBron was like, "You're out." And the last thing I say before we get on Knicks predictions, and it's a private business. I understand the Cleveland Cavaliers organization. They're in the sports entertainment business. It's private, but if you claim to care about your fans and you want to do a service to your fans, what has always bugged me, and I don't know if it's this new regime, I can't attribute to anyone, so I'm not going to harp on it, but he being JB Bickerstaff was given an extension last season. Does anyone know the details? I don't. How much is he making, and
Isn't it
what
like
is
a
the
6-year?
what is the tenure
5
for it?
years?
Maybe I am just been living under a rock. If somebody knows, in the chat, send me a link, tweet it to us at Pulse Cleveland, because Kobe Altman wants to come and shake hands and say that we extended this guy, and the public who pays for the tickets, who goes to the concession stands, and who buys jerseys online doesn't get to figure out the information. Nonsense. But let's do Knicks game predictions. I'm on a roll tonight. We're just having a banger of a day. The energy's high.
Today's been
I can't
a
wait
mess
to
for
watch
me.
this game. Oh, it's a mess, but we're making the most out of the best. Oh, let me pull this up. What a crazy week of predictions for us. I mean, so many things went wrong for not only the Cleveland Pulse crew, but also the Cleveland Cavaliers as a squad.
What?
I went 2-1.
I don't think it went wrong for the whole.
Yeah, but
Justin did
But
fine.
come on, should you guys have really have won that Grizzlies game? Come on,
I should have had that damn Warriors game. I tell you what. Holy
That's
crap.
what I'm saying. Like, what a weird week, kind of low key. I mean, yeah, you guys did good. I'm obviously just salty. That's how it goes around here. But
Justin, welcome back to the top, bud. I missed you.
I missed it too.
I think we're all doing. It's kind of impressive that we're all. So you guys are 10 games
so
above
close.
500, and the Cavs are 10 games above 500. So that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But wait. No.
They've been the hardest. They've been so much harder to predict this year than last year, in my opinion.
And I still think we're doing a decent job.
Yeah, well, Logan, I always go back to that point of like last year you could pick games and you could pick games to lose and it would be easy, like they're going to lose these games.
Yeah.
Now it's like
now I think they're going to win every game.
Lose?
Well, that's
like,
an injury thing too. It's like who's going to play, who's not going to play.
Right.
And we do these all at once. The fun part is that we do them all on Tuesday. Did we know that the Bucks, that was going to be the thing by the time we got there, that they were both going to be hurt?
No,
But
we heard it the day of.
that
right?
is even better for you guys because you had the confidence at full strength we were going to win, and we did it anyway. So
The Warriors
Logan,
game pisses me off. Go ahead.
Logan, I can't imagine how pissed off you could have been about that Warriors game because I was pissed off before it ever happened. When I sent that tweet, I was so mad. I was so mad that they tweeted that out, and I was like, Logan just got a dub, easy.
Yeah, no, I was honestly, I told Jordan, my Warriors guy, I was like, you guys are missing 4 guys. I think it's actually going to be a close game. I was like, it actually scares me more. You prepare to play this crazy ass team that has these 4 great players. They're all not playing. Now they're a question mark. Oh, we can rest Mitchell. Oh, Rubio could use a day off. No, we lose the damn game. And I sat there. My friend Dylan was here. I was sitting right here in the living room watching it. And sadly, my emotions got the best of me, and I broke our TV remote. I did chuck it, not against the wall, but just kind of tossed to the side. When Ty Jerome hit that backbreaker of a 3 from the right wing, I was like, all right, yeah, screw this.
I mean, we gave up 22 points and like 8 assists.
It was
to Ty
it
Jerome.
was garbage.
I was freaking out.
I called it in the chat. I said Ty Jerome's gonna have the day of his life tonight. He is, and he did.
So true.
And
those
he did.
one-off bench games are like deadly lethal.
Yes.
Unless it's us, then it's kind of a mess.
Exactly right.
All right, Logan, you're up front.
Oh, wait. When Logan overtook me and tied, he was in first place. Now I should be in first place.
No, you guys have the same record, and he had a better record the previous games, and now you guys have the same record.
Suck it, Justin.
Tie goes to the how else would it work?
This is blasphemy.
Scroll
up.
No, it's not.
No. I'm talking
Receipts.
about. Wasn't there a point when we were tied?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was up 15.
Oh, okay. Never mind that.
Yes.
You're right.
You guys have been tied multiple times.
Damn
tied.
it.
So
Damn it,
yeah,
I came into this thinking I was in the lead. Shit.
No,
God,
you
I
no
loved when I
you
was
you
26 and
swept you
15.
swept to get back to tied. Actually,
Damn
he was
it.
ahead of both of us. Me and you
I
were
was
tied last time.
I
And
was
you
just thinking that
folded.
I was just thinking that there was a point in time when we were both 16 and 16, and he had just gotten to 16, and he had passed me. No, you're right.
16 and 12. I was
Yeah.
14 and 14.
Justin,
week
what do you
before
think
he
about
was
this Knicks game, man? What do you think?
No
It's
side
awful.
conversations.
It's
Be
awful.
your
And
own
I'm glad
person.
now that
Look at your phone. Look at your phone. I'm going. I think tonight in MSG, in a game that we got to get this road shit going. And this is a Knicks team that it does not match up well with us. But we are 100%. I said this in the Utah game, and we should have won the Utah game. Donovan Mitchell is that dude. I'm taking the Cavaliers.
Oh,
He's got insider information, Jeff. I don't know where it's coming from, but he's got some sort of inside information.
I heard Randall and Brunson are out. I don't know.
He hopped on. He hopped on late.
My sources.
He's been at work all day. He knows nothing.
Cavs.
Chat. Put your predictions in the chat, and we'll make sure we'll hold you accountable if you're wrong. Justin.
I guess even Logan now just saying that those two are out makes me want to.
I'm joking. They are not out, bro.
Not out. Mitchell Robinson is out though.
Oh, that's a big loss. That's actually a huge loss. Yeah, Justin, you should take the Cavs.
No,
the only reason I feel like this is potentially an L is just because of how well I've been going, and I'm like, I'll just predict the Cavs and they'll lose. So I'll go Cavs and they'll lose.
Okay, so we have Cavs and Cavs. So I'm gonna be different, and I'm gonna say Cavs, but I'm gonna say personalized guarantee. No way we lose tonight.
Wow,
damn!
Okay.
I appreciate that.
So we're gonna go with that, and we're gonna update the standings accordingly. But
the Knicks.
Are we just gonna do more predictions later then for the rest of the games for the week?
Yeah, we'll figure out. We'll figure something else out now that I think about that, because we're kind of running up against the time. And my planning skills are bad. What's up, Justin?
Who else we got this week? Out of curiosity.
Well, we got games all the way up until next week Tuesday.
We play Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and then Tuesday again, a 7:00 game. What's up with these Tuesday games? I hate them.
All right, so we'll just have to step in, maybe do another live on Thursday and make the predictions for the rest of the week.
That's valid. That could be the case. Or
we can talk about how the Cavaliers blew it to the Knicks again.
That's true. Before we sign off tonight, any last thoughts moving forward? Put us in a mindset of Cavalier basketball before we end it.
Everybody, I'm telling you right now, you need a remote for a TV. Don't break it. You're going to hate yourself.
That's so true. What are you doing? Click on the side. Some TVs don't even have the side.
No, I put it back together. I just kind of jammed it, but it's
get that duct tape out.
The buttons are kind of all sunk in now.
That's fine. You probably have it just
I didn't even chuck it. Like, I wasn't even like that mad. I kind of just tossed it. But actually stand a chance.
That's the bad part. Like, you broke it. Like, you should have actually broke it. Would it feel better?
If I'm gonna get pissed off, I might as well take it out. But
right.
That's my first thought. But that leads into my second thought is listen. Don't be like me. Don't get angry during the game. Well, get angry during the game, but keep a positive mindset with this team. At the end of the day, you look at the standings like fifth. Oh, come on. Boston's playing at a different level this year. They just are. But everybody through 1 through 5, anybody could be second, third, fourth, fifth by the end of this season. And I get it. These wins are frustrating that we shouldn't have lost to the Warriors. We had Memphis wrapped up. We struggled with the depleted Bucks. I get it. I hear it. But we're getting to full strength right now. This is the team now officially that we're going to be looking at. There's teams that we just don't match up well with. You'll look at a team and say we should have beat them, and I say you're stupid. You don't watch basketball enough. There's teams in this NBA that just don't match up well. Did you guys know the Pistons have beaten the Warriors 5 out of 11 times since 2017?
No.
Like it just happens. It's just how it is in the NBA, and that's why you gotta stay patient. They might lose this game tonight. I won't be thrilled about it. We need every win we can get. I hear you. We've blown some games. Keep a positive attitude. Cavaliers are here to stay. We're building towards something. And I know that's way too deep for a random Tuesday in January of the season, but
I like Trey breaking the remote thing better, honestly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll just go break another remote then, dude.
Valid.
I'm kidding.
Call my ass out in live.
Luckily, you didn't toss it at the TV because that's something
I can't. All the furniture came with this place, so that TV would be on my security deposit, just like that.
Oh my lord! Well, all I'm gonna say is rotation.
Oh, here we go. This is your favorite time of the year.
You get healthy. You get everyone back. Now you get a starting lineup that I think we're gonna roll with until either someone gets hurt. With cross your fingers, hope that doesn't happen. And you roll as long as you can with this group, and you have to figure out 1 through 4 is figured out. You have to find 5 through 9, 5 through 8, even, but you got to do it. You got to figure it out, and you got to get the situation figured out in terms of how many minutes guys are playing. Rubio can be on a restriction. Dean Wade can be on a restriction. Hell, Kevin Love needs to be on a restriction right now. But you need to figure out between now and the playoffs who is going to be your first 3 guys, or who are you going to be your main 3 guys?
Who do you trust?
Yeah, who do you trust? Who are the guys that are going to win you playoff games? That's what we got to figure out now.
If a guy isn't playing well, JB, you don't need to keep playing him. Plain and simple. Be harder on these guys. Kevin Love going on an 8-minute stretch and giving you 3 points on 1 of 4 from deep and giving up every single point on the defensive end. Sit him for a second. Take these guys out. Send a message. That's what JB needs to do.
Well, I'll end it with the Cavalier faithful in the chat. Ashton, B. Skrills, Pedro joining in late. What's up? And Anthony says, new viewer, love the show.
Hell yeah, Anthony. Welcome.
Keep it up, guys. We've built this team to bring the community of Cavalier fans together. You just don't connect with people when you're picking in the top 5 every year because their record is so bad. There's nothing to talk about. You're waiting on the draft, and that's it. So when you've had all these top 5 picks, you made a move for Mitchell, you get to bring the community together, and you get greetings all the way from Brazil. So
Pedro, hell yeah.
Crazy that
worldwide.
we could be negative, but we could be positive as well, like Logan said. I think it's going to be a great season regardless. There's still a lot of basketball left to play. Let's look on the horizon, maybe not in the short term. But for right now, Cavs Knicks probably just tipped off. I know I'm turning on as soon as I end the live here. Cavalier faithful, 3 most important words before we see you again, whether it's a Logan short, whether it's a YouTube upload, whether it's a YouTube live stream. Let them know.